Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we have a really specific mission.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
cutting through all the noise, the mythology around Steve Jobs to get right to the core wisdom from his career.
Okay.
Specifically, we're not really talking gadgets today or even business tactics so much. We're diving into the life philosophy. So when he laid out in that famous Stanford commencement speech,
Yeah.
just 15 minutes.
That's the one. And it really is the closest thing we have to, like, a mission statement for his life.
Mhm.
And it's not just motivational talk. It feels more like a blueprint,
Yeah.
How to make an impact, how to handle failure. He built it around 3 key stories from his life.
3 defining stories.
Yeah, 3 lessons that basically act as pillars for how he thought about passion, perseverance, and, well, purpose, ultimately.
Okay, let's get into that blueprint then, starting with lesson 1, which honestly seems a bit strange at first glance. The idea that there's huge value in dropping out.
In uncertainty.
Exactly. Paradoxical, right. We know the basics.
Yeah.
Enrolled at Reed College, dropped out after only 6 months.
But the real insight isn't just that he left. It's why. He admitted he had no idea what he wanted to do.
And didn't want to waste his parents' money.
Precisely. He knew they didn't have much, his adoptive parents, and he couldn't justify spending their savings when he was just drifting.
That's actually quite responsible, in a way. But it led to some really tough times for him, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. The sources talk about real poverty, sleeping on floors in friends' dorm rooms.
Collecting bottles for cash.
Yeah, returning bottles for food money, and walking, 7 miles every Sunday?
7 miles just to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple.
Imagine that. But, and this is the crucial part, it was during this really tough time, this period of, discomfort, that he found a kind of intellectual freedom.
How so?
Well, since he wasn't paying tuition anymore, he just dropped in on classes, audited them, but only the ones that genuinely interested him.
Like calligraphy.
Calligraphy, the art of beautiful handwriting, seems completely impractical, right?
Especially when you're practically homeless. It sounds almost indulgent. How do we know this wasn't just, wishful thinking? How can someone listening now, facing real financial pressure, tell the difference between trusting their gut and just messing around?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think the difference maybe lies in the purity of it. Jobs wasn't taking calligraphy thinking, oh, this will get me a job.
Right, there was no obvious payoff.
None at all. He did it purely because he found it beautiful, fascinating. It was the opposite of, strategic career planning.
And that seemingly useless knowledge.
It became this unique kind of secret weapon 10 years down the line.
When he was designing the first Macintosh.
Exactly. That knowledge of typefaces, of serif and sans serif fonts, of spacing, it all came from that calligraphy class.
It's why the Mac looks so different, so elegant compared to other computers then. The beautiful typography.
It was foundational, made it visually revolutionary. And the lesson he draws from this is all about faith, trust.
You can't connect the dots looking forward.
You can only connect them looking back. That's his point. You have to trust, somehow, that the dots, these random experiences, setbacks, interests you follow now,
Like calligraphy.
will eventually connect and make sense later on. Form a picture. It demands trusting your intuition, your curiosity, over just, pure logic or what everyone else says you should do.
That kind of faith.
Yeah.
Wow. It must have been put to the ultimate test, though, with the second story he tells.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting fired. Publicly. From Apple, the company he started in his parents' garage.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? You'd start this thing at 20, build it into a $2 billion company by the time you're 30.
A global phenomenon.
Right. And then the board, people you probably hired or appointed, they kick you out. He talks about feeling like a very public failure, like he'd let everyone down.
Most people would crumble after that. We see careers end over much less.
Yeah. So what was it? What enabled him to just pivot almost immediately and start not just one, but 2 new companies, NextT and Pixar?
He said it himself.
Yeah.
He still loved what he did. And that's the key, I think, that distinction. Love for the work itself.
Yes, it wasn't just ambition or needing to be successful. For Jobs, the pain wasn't just losing the job title or the money, it was losing the chance to create. He actually said the heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again.
Ah, okay. So getting fired, in a weird way, freed him. It stripped away the pressure, the expectations of being CEO of Apple.
Exactly. It let him go back to basics, back to pure creation without that intense corporate scrutiny. It was like a forced reset.
And that freedom led to NextT, with its advanced operating system.
And, even more famously, Pixar. funding it, guiding it, leading it to create Toy Story, the world's first fully computer-animated movie, which changed everything in film.
And the ultimate irony, of course,
Is that Apple, struggling without him, ended up buying NXT.
just to get that operating system.
Right, which brought jobs back. Back to Apple. So the biggest, most humiliating public failure of his career literally paved the way for his triumphant return and his greatest successes later on.
Incredible. So the lesson there is, sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick.
Huh. Pretty much. Don't lose faith. Failure can actually be life clearing the path for you. Sometimes you get knocked down so hard you have to start over.
But you start over-focused on what you truly love.
Exactly. If that love, that passion for the work itself is real, then a setback isn't the end. It might even, fuel you. It helps you start again, feeling hungry, which ties into his final point.
Right. So first two lessons. Trust the journey, connect the dots backward, and love the work itself deeply. The third lesson feels different, more urgent. It's about facing mortality.
Yeah, this is the anchor. This makes the other two make sense, almost. He talked about this quote he found when he was just 17.
If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll most certainly be right.
That's the one. But the genius part wasn't just knowing the quote. It was the ritual, the habit he built around it.
The mirror test.
The daily mirror test. Every single morning, look in the mirror and ask yourself that question. If today were my last day on Earth, would I want to do what I'm about to do today?
That's intense.
It is. And it wasn't just a thought exercise. If the answer was no, too many days in a row,
He knew. Instantly.
knew something had to change. Not eventually. Now. Immediately. Drastically, if needed.
But an incredibly powerful filter for decision-making. Cuts through all the external noise, the obligations, the shoulds.
Totally. And then life gave him the ultimate confirmation of this philosophy. His cancer diagnosis.
When doctors initially told him he had, 3 to 6 months left?
Yeah, just devastating news. Now, he had surgery and thankfully survived much longer, but that initial confrontation with death, it solidified everything for him.
Made it real.
Absolutely. He said death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Because remembering you're going to die is the best way to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose.
Strips away all the fear. Fear of failure, embarrassment.
All the pride, the expectations. It leaves only what is truly important.
Okay, so let's connect that back. If you're acutely aware that your time is limited, that's lesson 3.
Uh-huh.
That gives you the courage, maybe, to follow those seemingly random interests, like calligraphy from lesson 1, without worrying what people think.
Yes, exactly.
And it gives you the resilience to get back up after a massive failure, like getting fired in lesson 2, because you know what really matters is the work itself, not the external validation.
That's the synthesis, I think. You put it perfectly. Once you truly internalize that time is the only resource you can't get more of,
Yeah.
his final commandment makes perfect sense.
Which is?
Stop wasting it living someone else's life. Don't get trapped by dogma, which is basically living with the results of other people's thinking.
Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice.
Right. You have to listen to your heart, your intuition. He believed they somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
Wow. So it really is a complete philosophy, linking that authenticity, that resilience, and that deep curiosity. And he managed to wrap all of that up.
Into 4 words.
Stay hungry, stay foolish. That final message from the Whole Earth catalog he loved.
Yeah, that dual mantra. It's the perfect summary of everything we've just talked about. But we need to be clear what he likely meant by those words based on his life.
Okay, let's break it down. Stay hungry. Looking back at, say, starting NXT and Pixar right after Apple, what does hungry mean there?
It's that drive, right? That restlessness. Not just for success in the conventional sense, maybe, but hungry for new experiences, hungry to create something new.
Never satisfied.
Never satisfied, never resting on your laurels. When he got fired, he wasn't hungry for revenge or even just money, I think. He was hungry to make things again, to build something. It's about keeping that beginner's mind, that urgency.
Okay, so maintain that drive, but then the counterpoint, stay foolish. How can Steve Jobs, the tech visionary, the supposed genius, tell us to be foolish? That seems contradictory.
It does, but think about the calligraphy class again. That looked foolish, right? Impractical. Or starting 2 companies right after a huge public failure that probably looked foolish, reckless to many.
Okay, so foolish here means being willing to take risks,
Hmm.
Pursue things that don't have an obvious, immediate payoff.
Exactly. It's about humility, too. Being willing to look foolish, to admit you don't know everything, to keep learning. He implies that the minute you think you're the expert, the minute you think you know it all,
You stop learning. You stop innovating.
you close yourself off. So stay foolish is about embracing that vulnerability, that openness to new ideas, even if they seem silly or unconventional at first.
So it's not just a catchy sign-off, it's actually a practical mechanism. You need the relentless hunger to push forward, to
Yeah.
achieve,
Uh-huh.
but you have to balance it with the foolishness, the humility, the willingness to take risks on things that aren't guaranteed,
Hmm.
the things your intuition pulls you towards.
That's it. That tension between drive and humility, between ambition and curiosity, that's the engine. That's the actionable strategy hidden in his life story and in that speech. It's how he operated, and it's, well, a pretty powerful guide for anyone trying to figure out how to make the most of their time.
So for you listening right now, here's the thought exercise. If you really took that mirror test seriously, every morning, what's the single biggest change or commitment you know you'd have to make? Maybe even starting today.
Yeah, and maybe think about this too. What's the difference in your own life between being hungry for what society expects, the promotion, the status, the usual stuff, versus being foolish enough to maybe risk some time or money or even just face looking a bit silly to pursue something you're genuinely deeply curious about? That thing that doesn't have a clear ROI right now.
Hmm.
Because maybe that willingness to risk looking foolish, like jobs studying beautiful letters when everyone else was focused on circuits, is the only path to creating something truly original, truly yours.